Continuing coverage now on that weather impact alert we have been telling you about all morning long. Right now, there is an evacuation order for anyone along the floodplain of the Muskegon River downstream of the Croton Dam. Of course, that river leading down into Newaygo, the city of Newaygo. So lots of folks right now being evacuated. We know first responders in some locations are going door to door to make sure everyone's out.
Yeah.
We have been talking about this all morning. So I guess we're seeing this because of the river levels and the water and the rain that has been collecting there over the last couple of days.
Yeah, so this 13 weather impact alert, we're talking about these high river levels, how that's going up into floodplains, and also impacting people's day-to-day lives in more ways than one. We've looked at sinkholes throughout the morning as well, and that's dangerous for not just areas that are close to rivers, but anybody driving through those areas too. So our 13 weather impact alert in place today as well as Saturday. That is going to be for rain in the forecast, which will make for flooding to become worse. Now, the Muskegon River specifically is one area that we're keeping a really close eye on. I will say up towards the White River, downstream of the Hesperia Dam, there is the potential. They are still tracking the potential for the Hesperia Dam to potentially have a failure. If that happens, those of you that are along the White River south, or rather downstream of the Hesperia Dam, you would also be seeing some pretty significant issues. So what you'll need to know is that you follow this phrase, turn around, don't drown. We talk about it all the time when flooding comes about, and that becomes really important when we're talking especially about those sinkholes, but also even just walking. Walking near floodwaters can be incredibly dangerous. It only takes 6 inches of standing water to carry away an adult. Now, as far as what we're expecting today, still more rain, some thunder showers. 13 weather ball is blinking bright. More rain is in sight. It's also green. No change foreseen to our temperatures. And this view is sponsored by Countryside Greenhouse of Allendale. So here's what we're seeing at the Hesperia Dam right now. This is where local officials are watching for the potential of a dam failure. Now at this point, waters are rushing, that's for sure. You're seeing those rapids on the screen as that water is moving really quickly through the dam. Now, as we're looking across the state, though, we're seeing more flood watches really throughout pretty much the entirety of the lower peninsula, other than flood warnings to our north. All of those little light blue polygons on your screen, those are river flood warnings in place for the White River, Muskegon River, down through the Rogue River and Grand River, and through Thornapple River as well. So a lot of rivers that we're going to be monitoring. And here's what you need to know to make sure that you're staying safe. If you do happen to get somewhere where you're going to be caught in any type of floodwaters, you want to get to higher ground immediately to make sure that you are staying as far away from those floodwaters as possible. Also, never drive through a flooded road. You don't actually know how deep those floodwaters are. It might look like a couple of inches, but it can be more than that, especially when we're talking about that potential for sinkholes that we've already seen a couple of. It only takes 1 foot of water to carry away most cars, 2 feet of water to carry away SUVs and trucks. So it's actually not all that much water to carry you into potentially worse and more hazardous floodwaters that could also carry quite a bit of debris. Don't drive around barricades. Make sure to respect those and just turn around, don't drown. That is really the phrase to pay attention to here. Here's what we've got on radar as rain is still coming down for much of West Michigan, mainly east of US 131 at this point, but Allegan County, you've still got a couple of downpours out and about. So still more of a moderate rainfall is what we're seeing, but things are starting to clear out. We will still be seeing a little bit of dry time today, but isolated to scattered showers and thunder showers throughout the day is what we're tracking. So this will continue to clear out. We actually have a really dry and quiet Friday, which is going to help us out at very least a little bit. It's going to make things not worse, which is good. But Saturday, we do see the chance for rain and thunderstorms once again. This all picks up Friday night, continuing into our Saturday morning. It clears out pretty quickly already by about 8 or 9 a.m. Most of us are looking to be in the clear, but not before it gives us a good deal of rainfall first. So between now and 4 p.m., the rain that we're still seeing currently and that we see into the early afternoon, that could deliver close to about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more than that, especially further east where those downpours are still hitting. And that's in addition to the rain that's already fallen this morning. Friday's quiet, but Saturday adds to our totals. That's when we could be looking at totals from now all the way through Saturday late morning that could be somewhere between about 1/2 of an inch up to 1 inch of rain. I do think that there's the chance for some more isolated areas to be even higher than that, though. We still are going to be anticipating more rainfall. Thankfully, a lot of that does look like it would be a bit further south, as where we're seeing some of the worst flooding conditions is north of Grand Rapids. So still even any amount of rainfall could make things a little bit worse, especially when we're talking about a lot of these dams that are seeing floodwaters that are really getting high and even starting to overtake the dam a little bit too. So here's what we've got on the way. Looking at rain today, still drier Friday, additional thunderstorms Saturday morning. At this point, the timing of those storms really does not necessarily perk our ears up to make us think that it would be severe. Right now, it just looks like any amount of rain is not a good thing, but severe weather does not look to be a concern. Now, beyond that, we're looking at drier conditions into next week, which is really good, but still Saturday's thunderstorms are going to cool us down pretty significantly, leaving us down into the 40s for our Sunday. So much cooler as we're closing out the weekend. But after that, we do continue to get back to seasonable temps. Your 13 on your side, 7-day forecast. 13 weather impact alert today as well as Saturday because of that potential that we will see for flooding that we're already seeing right now. Honestly, the likelihood for flooding is what we'll be tracking as we continue to see some river gauges that could even get to historic levels beyond what previous records have seen. Sunday is breezy. We're seeing drier conditions, but cooler. Next week, once again, we return to more seasonable values.